Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today I am joined with Tyler Bendel, who just got top 8 at the Remote Duel Regional playing Furniture Labyrinth or Ikea Labyrinth, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I'm just going to show you guys the profile. So, Tyler, feel free to take it away, man.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me. So yeah, I played IKEA Labyrinth. Pretty somewhat standard list. I think there are some things I'm definitely going to change going forward if I decide to keep playing this. Um, but yeah, three Ariana to start, three Stovey, three Shandrag. These are all standard. I played three Kuklok. I think going forward, I'm probably going to cut this down to one again because I topped a remote regional about a month ago, and I played three, and it was because I really liked the concept of opening one of these, any furniture piece in Ariana to do the you can't get ash blossomed lovely labyrinth play that Ryan you showed,
Hmm.
and I was like I loved that. I want to keep doing that because I resolve every time I resolved that I won the game, and I resolved that several times over the previous regional, and I resolved that 0 times yesterday. Honestly, I bricked on this. I before I had never bricked on this card, and one of my game one losses, the first time I was ever able to go to first, I bricked on two of these in lovely. So I think I'm gonna cut this down to one.
Mm, that's fair.
Um, moving on, the standard 2 and 1. You have to play these cards. I drew her a lot yesterday, like way more than I wanted to.
Hey, it still worked out, though.
Yeah. This is a little different, I guess. I main decked three lords. Um, I'm terrified of Unchained, and I'm also terrified of Branded, Chimera specifically.
Mm,
Both of those matchups are close to unwinnable in my opinion. Um, Chimera is a little bit easier, or a little bit more manageable because you can somewhat play out of your main phase and around the Chimera fusion. But this makes it so that you don't have to worry too much about getting Guardian Chimera on your back row at least.
mm.
Um, but this is an auto win against Unchained. I played against one Unchained. He ended up actually getting, I think, third or fourth. Um, and I lost game one. That was the one hand I opened two lovely and one lovely two coup clock, and but I just sat with this games two and three and won out because of this card and a card in the side.
I like that a lot for the popularity of Thrust, too, going into stuff like Lightning Storm and Duster. It's like
Yeah,
really strong and
that was another reason I played this card over something like Nib.
mm, just like small.
I
I
was
feel like a small tech choice like that can have big impact when like Cosmic's less popular and you have Thrust targets being more popularized right now.
Yeah, the other reason I played this card. I was really you can't play around thrust easy in this deck as much as it's a trap deck. All of your interactions for the most part are your monsters, and I can't not play around thrust. And this makes it so that like their thrust is worse.
Hmm.
The one card they want to get is not going to do anything.
Hmm.
And then three Ash Blossom. Uh, Honestly, it was okay. I think this was great once. Actually, the every time I open this game one, I played against two Manadium yesterday, first round and last round. They won the die roll. They go summon Reamheart after getting the field spell. I go Ash, and I got called by the Grave. Both game ones, both game one, round one and seven. And then I just picked up my cards because I didn't want them to see what I was playing.
Mm,
Because
gotcha.
then I got locked.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess they're doing the Calamity line.
Um, one wasn't, but the one that wasn't, he still made a board that I could not break
Right, yeah.
with the rest of the cards in my hand. Which at that point, don't let him see what I'm playing.
Yeah, the Vanadium deck does so much anyway.
Yeah. I wish I actually respected that deck a little bit more because it is a hard matchup from how much they can put on the board.
Hmm.
Um, like them breaking my board is not too much of a concern, but if they can go first and they can play through the hand traps I do have, it's very hard for me to break back.
Right.
The spells pretty standard, I guess. Three pot. This is the best card in the deck.
Hmm.
I will never not play this card.
Spot agreed.
Yeah, it literally is pot agreed. I don't think I'm playing this card anymore. The field spell.
Mm.
It the pops came up, I think once or twice, and games two and three, I kind of sided it out. Maybe it's because I was playing against a lot of matchups that were my bad matchups, and I just wanted better cards.
Hmm.
But you don't need this anymore. I honestly, going forward, I probably cut this and 2 Ku Klux, and I wanted to play 3 Fenrir. Like I really wanted to play Fenrir and I
Mm,
couldn't.
yeah.
So that's probably what I change out.
It feels like
Um,
does it feel like a win more card to you? Because I feel like every time you're resolving your traps anyway, like if you get to that point where they're resolving, I feel like you're just winning regardless, right? Like if you're resolving your big welcomes and your welcomes.
yeah, it's definitely win more. There was one time when I had skill drain and both the trap cards and the field spell
Hmm.
all active, and I set the field spell with the furniture piece because I opened both the other traps. So it's like I don't need this here. It's like nice to have, but I'm never searching this anymore.
Hmm.
Um, like maybe before, back when it was a little bit more of an I felt like I needed more interaction with cashier running around more, but now it's like, nah, I just want to keep having a monster on the board to play the game.
Right.
Um, so even like it has the second effect, that other effect almost never comes up. It's definitely one more. Speaking of which, Called by the Grave, I resolved this once on something that wasn't Ash Blossom, but I, I think it did win me the game.
Hmm.
Um, I resolved this on Red Dog. I think it's Shayama, or if that's
Yes.
the Red Dog. Yeah,
Sharvara, it might be. I don't know.
yeah, Red Chain Red Dog.
Yes. Yeah.
I called by the grave his red dog when he searched it for Yama, and he had sent it to the graveyard with a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and that really helped. And then he used what I mean. He also kind of misplayed. He summoned back Fiendish Rhino Warrior with Yama to then use the other effect to pop his Aruha, but forgot the part where Rhino Warrior says you
Mm,
can't destroy your own fiend.
yeah. Protects your own cards.
So I won from there. So that was really helpful.
What a really
Um,
random specific interaction. That usually never comes up in
It
that matchup.
I've never had it come up, and it was the only reason I won that match.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, Onto the traps. I would play 5 or 6 of this card if I could. This
It's
is
the best
actually
card.
the best card. They talk about custom cards. This is a custom card that doesn't get talked about enough. This card is insane.
Hmm.
Um, 2 of this. Sometimes you can even side out 1 going second. It's really not as good as this because I will search this 10 times over before I search this.
Right.
Hell, if I don't have this and I have one of this, I'll still search another one of this because I want the versatility of having one in the graveyard and on the field. I know I can only use one, but the option is there, and that's more important to me.
Hmm.
3 Imperm, I guess it's pretty standard. 3 Skill Drain. I guess this is getting more standard. This was really good for me. I think every time I flipped this card, I won. Um, Round 6, I played against ABC, and I didn't expect ABC to make it that far because I was X1 at that time. I was like, how? I didn't think this deck could get that far.
Wait, ABC got wait. What round was it?
This is round 6. He was X1.
That's crazy. All right, I don't know if I've ever I don't know if I've ever said this on my channel before. I have like an ABC theory of why that deck in my eyes can just never be competitive. I might get shit for this, but it's fine if I do. I'm accepting it here. The way you have to build ABC, usually minimalistically, is with 3 field spells, terraforming, and then like some combinations of like 2A, 2B, 2C, or somewhere in that range. And that's like average, I would say.
Yeah.
So your deck has to start with roughly 10 normal summons in your deck that don't do anything, which is already screwing the math of your opening hands of one of the cards in there being dead in your opening 5 every time, which I just cannot handle as a deck in general. Like that's so
Yeah.
bad. It's just from off the rip that is terrible in a deck building stance. I think that deck is so awful just because of
Yeah.
that. But yeah, sorry, I just had a rant.
No, by all means. Honestly, it was the only matchup where I was like, I was glad I had this card because the traps get the added addition of the pop.
Mhm.
Well, he didn't have an Ash Blossom for this when you activate Union Hanger. This is basically an MST at that point.
Mhm.
Um,
Just free.
and yeah, he didn't have another field spell, but he had the combo where you go into with Revolution Synchron to make Ancient Fairy Dragon. Well, he's like, oh, well, I can't get another field spell. So he made Black Rose against me. And that's when I skill drained, and I was like, all right, this card's insane.
You're like, oh, thank God that was there. Black Rose is a scary card.
Oh yeah, wasn't ready for Black Rose in 2023. And then the last 3 traps. This is good for Unchained, that one. This is the best card in the deck. I don't think it
Terrors, yeah.
gets talked about enough. It's the best card in the deck. Maybe I'm overcompensating for it because there's still people at my local who haven't realized Kashtira. Um, it can go away now.
You're
Um,
still playing it there?
we have at least 3 people at my local that still play it.
Damn,
And
that's crazy.
I actually played against it yesterday, round 5. It was going second Kashtira. I won 2 die rolls all day. I lost the die roll to him, but he said you can go first. And I was like, wait, you mean it? The trap deck gets to go first? And then game 2, after I beat him game 1, he's like, yeah, you can go first again. What are you doing, man? Just don't let me play the game. And it's because of that I still played Karma Cannon. This is still good. I don't know if I'd play it going forward. Maybe it's because of the whole recency experience of playing against Cashier over and over again.
Mhm.
A little side story. I've played to get in several PS5 tournaments, and I've gotten second place at all of them. The last weekend, I got second place in another one, and I lost to Kashtira.
Oh my
And
god.
I was like, I want more. I want this card in there, and I'm not having this card in here. But it was okay. I think I'll still play it going forward. I don't know. It might turn into D barrier with the new set coming out if I continue to play this deck.
I'm actually gonna. I'll ask you now. I know we talked about it a little bit, but like, what are your just general thoughts on the new Labyrinth monster in Age of Overlord on in this deck specifically?
In this version, I don't think I'll ever play it. It's only good if you open the trap card you want to see with it.
Hmm.
So you have to open one of these. So the only time it's going to be good is if you open Ariana and this, uh, so that you can normal Ariana, search it to set this and activate it. And if they ash, that you can get the monster out, and that's good.
Hmm.
But the issue with that is, I would rather have a furniture piece in rotation. While I'll neg myself a little bit in that specific situation, having the furniture pieces in rotation consistently gaining me an advantage without having to have my opponent be the one that's doing the interaction
Hmm.
is more important to me than, you know, turn zero, set whatever card I want, set D barrier, Ooga Booga, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, like yeah, that's cool. If I can, my opponent goes first, I activate that, set D barrier, and they activate Brand Diffusion. Yeah, that's cool, but let's be real here. That's you're playing one D barrier. You're never not playing one D barrier, and that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
But in normal, like pure trap labyrinth, I might say you can get away with playing, one or two, because it's a much more controlled game, a lot more interaction than uh this, because I don't want my opponents to ever interact with me. I want
Right.
to say 6 chain links on my turn and you got to say nothing.
Hmm.
Or 6 chain links on your turn and you got to say nothing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really mid. I think I could be proven wrong. There might be a combo out there where I definitely could just be proven wrong. Who knows? With the whole um, everything coming out in the new set that we're still learning about, yeah, they could just find a new broken combo that I don't think of. But as of right now, I think it's super mid.
Okay, that's fair.
What do you want me to do? Side deck or extra deck?
Whichever you prefer.
I'll do extra deck because I made 0 of these cards. Um,
Nice.
3 of the card that you have to play to never make it. Um, these are the only ones that really ever matter.
Right. Yeah.
And this is mainly for so that I can do the whole summon back lovely play. Again, I never opened it. Never came up.
Yeah. I know that plays
Um,
really strong to play around Bell and Ash, so it's important.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Um, Lingaribo for Ibly. Never got Iblied. Nightmare Phoenix. It's a fiend. Um, Dark. This could have some applications to then link up to Unicorn, but I never made it. Um, in case I played against a Towers deck like Pearly and needed an out,
Hmm.
it never came up. In case I never activated Welcome Labyrinth, and I was still scared of what's it called?
Tier, I guess, or Unchained.
Fear or Unchained.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, there were times where I could have made this or Baguska against my round 3 opponent No, it was round 2 opponent. He was playing Brandon Chimera game 3. He bricked super hard. He set a monster, set a back row, and passed.
Oh my
And I
god,
was
dude.
like, what is your monster that you're setting? I'm so confused here.
Yeah, what the hell do you
And
set in that deck?
it was Edge Chain. So I normal summoned Ariana. He ashed the Ariana. I was like, I'm not attacking that. There's some funny games going on here. He flips his monster, attacks. I play Shifter. Shifter's in the side deck. There's a little hint. I Shifter him on the attack, and he Book a Mooned his own monster.
That's so neg. Oh my god.
Yes, it felt
What the
so good.
hell? Like the game's like over already. Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You guys are playing
And
GOAT
then-
format for like 2 turns.
Exactly. It got even worse because I normal summoned another Ariana the next turn, and he ashed that, and I didn't have any other trap cards, so I was just like, all right, pass. He didn't switch the monster to attack again. Passed, and I just switched my monsters to defense, and we played Goat for like 2 turns, and he couldn't draw anything.
What the fuck?
It was the best game state in the world. Zeus. So in case it ever comes up, it never did. This should be Gingirsu. I don't own one, but
Oh,
I love
okay.
Sultans, so this was cool.
Represent, you know. So
Yeah. I mean, it technically can do exactly what I needed to do for Gingirsu. Like, it gets rid of the the floodgate that stops special summoned level 6 or higher or 7 or higher.
oh, wow,
You know which
Grave.
one I'm on.
Yeah, Grave of the
Grave.
Super Rage Organism, yeah.
Yeah, because it can technically do that, and then it could have an application where, if I'm against tier, if cards are sent from my deck,
Mhm.
again, that will never come up. But it was how I justified to myself for not having Dingirsu.
Right.
So play that over this card. And then the side deck, Shifter.
Well,
It was
well, well. well, Shifter.
it was good when it needed to be good. There was one instance that stood out that kind of made me wish I didn't play it. I sided it in against Vanadium, game 3 in the final round, and even though this doesn't completely stop them, it was enough. I felt like it would be enough to slow them down to maybe they couldn't break my board.
Yes.
And I opened a very specific hand. I'll also, because this was in the hand, I'll also show this.
Mhm.
It was Shifter, Nib, Kuklok, Furniture Piece, Lady. So I was like, all right, this is full combo, and I can play Shifter. But I need him not to have an interaction. And this matchup is already very hard, so I was like, you know what? It's the last round, I'm feeling myself. And he made me go first, game 3, which I was not prepared for. So I Shifter him, I chain Kuklok in the Furniture Piece, and I discard the Nib. Summon out Kuklok, set Big Welcome, summon Lady in defense, and I go activate Big Welcome, and he takes a minute to think. And he didn't have Ash, but he banished Fenrir from his hand with Scareclaw Kashtira, and that's why I lost, because I couldn't set another trap card.
Wow.
And then I have to pop Scareclaw with Lovely because he can just link off and go full combo from there.
Yeah.
And I just hope he doesn't have anything. So I lost that match.
It's actually very rare that somebody remembers that that's a quick effect to be able to chain it to block stuff.
Yeah, it's super important.
I don't think a lot of people would remember that Scareclaw Cashier is a quick effect to summon.
Another thing a lot of people don't remember about the Vanadium deck is you can make Vicious Astrolabe with monsters on your field.
Yes.
And that's how I won round 1, because my opponent didn't remember that.
When I played Vanadium, we were playing Battle Baboon for a little bit to destroy it with Visos, and we were making wind up Zen mains as a Zeus target. And then you can use wind up Zen mains to make Astrolabe because it is the required attack and defense to fuse with it.
Is it 1521?
It is exactly 1521.
Oh my god, that's actually insane. I love that.
Yeah, that was a little fun tech we were doing a little while. This is before Nationals. This is like one of the decks we were considering, but yeah, it was a fun time.
that sounds hilarious. I want to mess around with that now.
It was really goofy, man. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it sounds like the perfect amount of spice to just get there and throw somebody off. And then with Nib, I resolved this once against Vanadium round 7, game 2, and I won the game because of it. I don't I don't know if I'll main this. I don't know what I'll do with it. Um, it's gonna be in the deck somewhere. I think going first, it's way better than going second because people are still playing around it and like have a game plan for when they do get nibbed, especially Unchained. Like if you just nib them when they get 2 level 6s on the board, they're like, all right, that's cool, Griffin Lock.
Hmm.
Like I can still kind of play under Griffin Lock to a degree, because trap cards, but it's not. I want my nib to say, hey, pass your turn.
I think the
Um,
DDD is harder for you to outright rather than go for Griffin if they go DDD. Like stopping welcomes and big welcomes is so annoying.
that too.
Oh, and
That is
lady in hand, yeah.
really hard. It'd be nice, like they can't make a board afterwards if I send this with a furniture piece, but then I'm asking to have nib furniture piece, and that's still great and everything, but it's still, you know, I want nib to be able to do everything I needed by itself and not
Hmm.
rely on another card. And at that point, like I'd rather just have this going first, so when they try to break my board, I can just nib them back because it's Labyrinth. They'll probably break the board.
Yeah.
And if they're not breaking the board, I'm winning the game.
Hmm.
But this will be in the deck somewhere. I don't know if this will stay. Uh, but with Tier running around, it's probably going to stay.
Hmm.
Speaking of Tier, I didn't play against a single Tier player, so this never came in.
Oh, they would be
Um,
really good though.
oh yeah, they'll probably still stay in there. Um, I have a love-hate relationship with this card, 3 Tikaboo.
Wow,
Um,
I'm surprised you're playing that. That's
exactly.
the all fiend
That's
deck.
exactly. My theory was, uh, any deck I'm siding this against, it kills, but it hurts me too. But who's gonna win the game? The person with a 29 or a 3K beat stick on their board, or the person who can't summon anything past a 1500 monster.
I
Um,
would like this more if you like. I know you just said that you were going to play Fenrir. Like, I like it so much better if Fenrir was in the list.
yes, yes,
It'd be
and
perfect.
I wish Fenrir was in the list. There was time when I did bring out Lord and
Mhm.
Lady on the board, so I was able to have 2 monsters. But this would be infinitely better if Fenrir was in the list.
So much pressure. It's so much
Yes,
pressure.
it is the exact only reason, not the only reason. It is a very big reason why I was able to win the Unchained matchup. I'm that terrified of Unchained. It's also we also have a lot of Bird players that are local, and I didn't want to play against Bird. This deck has a really good Bird matchup as it is already.
Mhm.
Um, but this just is an instant win
Yeah, three
against
skill
any.
drain, three Tikaboo. Just can't.
Yeah,
Birds just can't play.
yeah, exactly. And I'd rather just have these two on the board and make them choose which one they're going to destroy. And if they open the Feather Duster, hopefully I open the Lord.
Yeah.
Um, but I have also lost to this card before because not when I've had it active, when I've had it active against me, because the decks that can play under this card very well, i.e. Kashtira, or Chimera, because they can
Mhm.
play under it somewhat.
Yeah.
Um, I lose to those decks much harder because while I can just sit on a 3K beat stick, I need to do more than that to beat those decks because while I have a 3K beat stick, they have their entire engine.
Hmm.
So love-hate relationship with it.
It's the best floodgate right now, though, by far.
Yes, and that's exactly why I sided it because I'd rather just make sure they can't play and me play a bit more.
Hmm.
And then the last cards, Full Force Virus, Eradicator Virus. I eradicated once yesterday, and he didn't even let me set the D barrier when I was done. So kind of BM of him. Um, this was insane. I drew this. I hard opened this more than I set it. And then the last card. This was the 15th card, and I don't think it should have been in there at all. I sided it in. It was a second Karma Cannon. Um, and again, this goes back to the whole Hashtira still running around at my locals and other places
Yeah.
because I've gotten to huge grind games. Like even though I can play Shifter, um, Shifter actually hurts me a bit when they go Shifter as Kashtira going first, and then I do my set a trap card play. Well, if they had open engine, they're like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna pop it with Dark Armed right now, and
Mm,
you went. I shifted you, and then you went -2.
right.
So that's why I was like, if I can have a second one of these, because even if I go -2, I can still kind of play back into that game against Cashier because they're more controlled than anything now.
Yeah, they can't just kill you anymore.
Exactly. So if I lose one of these, or I lose my way to set it, I wanted to have a second. And I did side it in, and I did C2 over the course of that match, and I was happy I had it for the match it did come in, but it should not be in the deck, and it's probably going to get cut going forward.
I mean, I still
I
think the
don't.
deck's really. I still think the card's really strong anyway. Right? It's pretty much like
Yeah.
a stop or clear. Like it's so good still. Even if it's not like at it's not like even though if Cashier is not in the format, it's still like a stop.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I would probably cut this, and then figure out something with these monsters. I don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
Probably play some Bestials so that I can also keep playing under There Can Only Be One a bit better.
Yeah, I know that they're getting popular now too, with
Yeah,
tier coming out of the woodwork very strong. So Bushiels are going to start picking up popularity too.
yeah. And but I also might want to play DD Crows. I don't know because I think Pearly is going to be very good next set with Gen and Ken.
Yep, them too.
Those cards are insane. I don't know why they printed them.
I agree. I agree. His cards are stupid.
I read them. I was like, wait a minute. I get to draw 2 and discard 1, and if I played the Dark World engine, I got to draw 4 cards, and then my Thrust and Talent's alive. Oh, okay.
I am not a fan of how those cards operate. I don't like them. Not for like, oh god, I don't want to talk about this too much on my channel because I'm like I try staying like as optimistic as possible, but like they're like cards that promote like not fun gameplay to me. Like making things that you can usually play around like Thrust and Talents live is not enjoyable.
Yep.
Now it's just like now you just have to play around. You can't even play around Thrust and Talents anymore, which is frustrating. But whatever.
Yeah. Like turn 1, they're just going like I can't interact with you at all if I don't respond to Gen or Ken, whichever one they end up summoning right away. I lose, and that means my imperm was instantly used on that, and they're like, "Oh, that's great." So Black Cat gets to resolve. Everything else gets to go full force, and that's so annoying because I don't like a card that requires you that if you don't do anything to this, you're just going to have a way worse time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very meta impactful 2 exclusives just because I think Dark World's going to be in our format. Like I think like Dark World and Pearly are both going to be like very heavily in the format now when they probably shouldn't be post next set, but they're going to be now.
And it makes me wonder if because of that, and with I don't know how good the new Vanadium card is, but that makes me think does Droll come back to the format, and if that's going to be impactful enough to stop all of this.
Yeah.
Even if Droll comes back to the format, congratulations, Thrust and Talents are live. I'm going to Thrust set a card that you can't deal with, and Talents are a card in your hand. You've started with 4 cards in your hand for the next turn, and I'm making it so that you can't play the game.
Yeah, it's just a lot for no reason. I hate it so much. It's gonna be. I'm like interested to see where like trends develop to because there's like so much paranoia of like how stuff's gonna work. But it's gonna be weird for sure.
Yeah,
I'm really curious about it.
I really like the start of new formats because I really like studying them and learning them as like a puzzle. How do I solve this meta?
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, there's an easy answer, and I don't like the answer to this, so I want it to be different. And that just doesn't seem fun at all.
I agree. I'm on the same boat there.
With it being legal for indie, I don't know if you're going, but I am, and I am not looking forward to having to prep all of this new stuff for indie and be ready with the answer or the best answer to this question: what is the meta?
I will be
the first weekend.
Richmond duelist, so I will be studying indie like all hell to prepare myself for Richmond, most likely.
All right. Well, I mean, hopefully I can study well enough. I'll be back here to talk to you about it.
If you do, I'll be excited. Yeah, definitely.
But I could say one thing. It ain't gonna be this. I think this deck is not the call for indie at all.
Yeah, with those things running around, that probably it's a rough choice.
Yeah, but Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you don't mind, just quick shout out to my buddies Darren for testing with me and telling me that I'm not bad at this game and to keep taking it seriously. Um, Shout out to my buddy Logan for discrediting my first top because I topped with Cash, and then I said, "All right, I'll top with another deck," and then I topped with his deck, his favorite deck, twice. So thanks for the drive. And then shout out to my team Wolfpack, and all the people I test with. They know who they are, and there's too many to name. And shout out to my wife because she lets me play card games.
Perfect, man. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it, and congratulations one last time. And hopefully, I will see you after Indy.
Hopefully, sounds good.
Take it easy.